So you're going to see just the other day, shag carpet, and then you're going to see 2023, me catching a nice fish in the same riffle. You guys watch the bottom, check out what's going on, make the observations for yourself. Then I'll come back in at the end and we'll break it down. Time of year, there's just a nice big morning caddis hatch, which is over. We're about 9:30, and I fished this riffle. This is also a very important spawning riffle where fish spawn all through here, this whole section. But this particular spot in here, above and below and down through here where I'm right now, is prime spawning habitat, or was prime spawning habitat. I just want to dip the camera in, take you guys for a swim, and show you how thick this vegetation is. It's like walking on a shag carpet, like a 4-inch long or thick shag carpet. That was never here before we started releasing all the incredible hulk water down the river. I just wanted to give you guys a swim. Hang on here, we're going under, hold your breath. I apologize a little bit, my shadow was in there because of the way the sun is, but get you a couple more hopefully. But you can see how thick it is. I mean, you don't have to worry about slipping on the rocks here because there's a carpet on top of it that was never here before. I always like to get a little bit below them. That way I'm pulling the hook into the fish's mouth, not out of the fish's mouth. Angler position is everything. Angler position is everything when you're fishing light tackle. This way if something hits it, you know, essentially pulling it into its mouth. It's facing upstream. Take the time to get in the right position. Fish it off that shelf, just let it drift over. And there you go, my friends. Calling it. Just calling it. Calling the shots. Nice big one here. This is a big one. All right, we'll let you get that footage. The lunchtime break session. The guided trip didn't get that one. Come on, we're gonna do it right here, bud. Right here, nice and quick. Spinning tackle quick. That's a respectable trout, my friends. Lunchtime sessions, Red Bandy Outdoors with Fish Finder jigs. That fish was in, a couple 2 feet of water. See the jig right there in the side of his mouth. We'll pop that out. All right, let's jump in here and quickly go over what you saw. You know, the first part of the video is me from the other day, before the fires came. We'll talk about that here in a second. Basically showing you like 100% coverage of the shag carpet. You know, I give you a little bit of a peek of it. And then the second video is me catching the fish. And in that video, I think it's pretty clear to see that, especially when the walk down to the site, which is from above along the bank, which is now easily 100% shag carpet. You can see there that it's just patches of the green filamentous algae, the real loose stuff that probably drifts off easy in the wintertime. Fish can blow that out when they're spawning. But 3 years later from, you know, the first video the other day, that's all covered in. it's much more than just the green filamentous. It seems to be that's the first layer, and then this other stuff comes on top and then starts to get the roots growing, whatever it is. I haven't chopped it up and dug it up or anything, um, but it's pretty vigorous and covering the whole bed and eliminates the whole kind of slippery rock situation, which we're all used to. So you can look at the video, make the judgment for yourself. Like I said, it's pretty short. Um, I greatly appreciate all the stuff, all the subscribers, all the comments, all the likes that people threw in on the last video. I really wanted to have a real good conservation element to what I do. And this was what I chose to do with that, is to kind of get into that space where people aren't talking about stuff and see if I can offer some value to the conversation. And so, of course, my videos will get better over time, and I will um, definitely take into consideration a lot of the input, comments that people had, a lot of the discussion we had in the comments. So please keep that up. As you can imagine, I'm a one-man band, so it's tough to always get on all over those, but it's exciting, when you're doing a new YouTube channel where people react to what you put out there in any way, positive, negative, or indifferent. I don't really care. I just want to have an open conversation about what's going on. So, I'm not here to try to tell you what to think, but I'm here to tell you the things you should be thinking about when we're having this discussion, or when discussion is occurring and you want to be part of it. So hopefully I can do that with some general observations and some general discussion. And I truly appreciate all the people that chimed in and, like I said, subscribed, because I'm shooting for that 1,000 mark and those 4,000 watch hours to get to that infamous monetization of YouTube, just to see if it's possible. So conservation is going to be part of that journey. If you're liking what you're seeing and hearing, thank you very much. If you want to support the channel more, you can go over to my store at fishfinderjigs.com, and you can pick up a cool shirt like this or several other fish designs you see me wearing on there. There's some awesome stuff that my neighbor drew up for me, and I put them on the store because they're super awesome and very unique and one of a kind. And I'd love to see subscribers and people that want to see more of this give their thanks by picking up a shirt. And also, you'll find on there the cool fish finder jig and all the other flies that I use on my channel for the innovative light tackle techniques that I like to use. They're very effective. They keep you from wading above the knee most of the time, and keep you out of the spawning beds and things like that, like I talk about on my channel. So there's kind of a full circle there, so to speak, with what you see in my channel. So if this is the stuff you're interested in, and you support YouTubers in different ways and go pick up merch and some of their products, I've had a pretty successful store over the last few months. We're here into July. It's been a little tough. But yeah, go over there, check it out, see what you think. Let me know. So back to the Deschutes. I'm going to throw up my Instagram handle on there, Red Bandia 1. Go over to Red Bandia 1. I just posted a reel from yesterday, which would be Sunday, the 26th of July. And we had some fires come through here. We had some lightning come through here in several rounds. There was 2 fires. I kind of seemed to have kind of slept for a day until the sun and wind hit them right. And one of those took off on, I think, Saturday night, and it rolled down the highway, or to the highway in River Junction, where this spot is that I'm filming these videos, basically almost to it. So we went down there in the car, and I hung the phone out the windows. We drove back up the river yesterday just to check it out, because that's pretty darn close. That's 15 minutes away, down where the river, canyon, and the highway meet and you cross. And on the way back, you'll see us going up the highway. We pass this guy who's going slow to kind of check out what's going on too. And when you look up the river, you'll see a big helicopter down at the river kicking up a lot of water, and it's going to take off and go do its business. And so we're going up the hill, and then all of a sudden this helicopter comes up from below us and is now above us, and it kicks off down into the canyon out there to go hit a hot spot where they're trying to stop everything, completely mop it up, I guess. No more hot spots to kick up in the wind. When the highway's open and everything and people are watching it. But you can see where it jumped the highway. There's other videos out there on the socials that people put up that were driving through when it was burning. Um, so go check that out. Kind of an interesting fact. Didn't hurt anything. I don't think it's hurting the river. It's just a fire. Not good by any means. Not good for anybody who had to evacuate or whatever. I don't know if they lost any structures. I don't think so. Right in there, but yeah, just this lightning caused fire in a very dry area with a lot of wind in the river canyons, and it's very dangerous at times. So, um, but yeah, back to the river. It's easy to kind of point the finger at things, and there's a lot of discussion in the comments. But remember, this is a spot that's about 3 miles from the dam, so there's very few things that can influence this spot under these conditions in this kind of river, the size of a river. Beyond a change in the water quality, the temperature, things like that. A few septic tanks, things like that. Yeah, those are a concern. We need to make sure those are regulated properly. Whether it's occurring or not, we don't know. The possibility may exist, but yeah, development upstream in the cities and things like that, like Bend and that all adds to the nutrification of the lake, right? So that's all just part of the incredible Hulk water. We'll consider all that just one. So anything between this site and the dam is very, very minimal, right? If someone has a bunch of cows or horses and there's a manure pile and it leaks into the river when it rains, that's not good. We don't want to see that happen. There's lots of things you can do to stop that, but that's not what's causing this. This is something a little bit more consistent, and that's what the video shows. The changes between now and then, right? So we're in a drought year now. The river's a lot lower than it normally is, but you know, that's a contributing factor. That could be a concern. The sun has more ability to penetrate and grow more algae this year than it does in other years, right? So that's a factor. The real concern is now that that's happened, that's just part of the natural cycle of what we're going to see with the climate change. We're going to see some dry years in the Deschutes. We're going to see some wet years, and if the dry years, we get enough shag carpet developed on the river bottom that it takes over the spawning gravels, and we can't blow it off in these areas because we don't have any high flows or anything like that are going to do it. And the basic wintertime weather in this type of situation isn't enough to knock it off. We'll have to see if that's an issue, and if that's an issue, then that's generally a loss of habitat, right? What about the bugs that live there? The bugs that live in those rocks, they get all covered over in the algae and the roots and stuff. That changes the environment, so it's totally different part of the bug situation. From the salmon fly perspective, they're used to crawling along clean rocks to across the bottom to get to the bank. Now they're crawling across 10, 20 meters, 15 meters of shag carpet that forms along the bank line before they get to the bank and crawl up. Is that going to have an effect? Is it having an effect? I have no idea. These are the things that are worth thinking about, and the impacts that may arise or have arisen from what we're seeing. So if you like this kind of stuff, and this is the channel for you. Obviously, we're going to go do some more fishing. We're going to catch some fish. We're going to do it all over. The fish finder jig is pretty amazing. You can see a lot of videos on my channel where it's in Montana and Idaho, different places catching fish. So thanks for coming today. I think I'm going to leave it there. I truly, truly appreciate your time, and I will see you next time.